we would check between our common and our power open. We still have a green light here on this one right here. Right now, as you can see, we're getting 24 volts. So these EWC dampers are power close and power open. Like what we see a lot here, they'll have a master above the garage. The ceiling of that garage is not insulated. And so in the summer, that room gets very hot. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Trying to hit 500 subscribers within the next month or so. So that'd be pretty cool if we can do that. First of all, let me just say, this is the first time I've recorded a video in a while. So getting back into the flow of that has been a little different. But today I kind of want to talk about zone systems a little bit. And I'm going over to my parents' house actually to look at their zone system. Something funky's going on with it. The dampers might not be opening or something like that. So I'm gonna go check it out and kind of just talk about it, what I'm seeing and what I'm finding with that. And I kind of want to talk about if they, do zone systems suck or not? There's a lot of people out there that I think don't like zone systems, and maybe because they don't understand how they work or how they should be installed, or what the application is useful for. And this is kind of a pretty good scenario or a good example of a zone system. So I'll kind of break it down for you and show you why the zone system I think is useful for my parents' house, and kind of just the pros to having a zone system. I personally like zone systems. I don't think that they should be frowned upon or anything like that, or that they suck. I think that they need to be installed correctly so that they can succeed. When you put in a zone system, you have to know going in that there's things that can break, right? There's things that can fail. And so I think that might be where a lot of the unfamiliarity or discomfort comes from with technicians and installing zone systems or working on zone systems. But if you know how they work, then there's nothing to them, in my opinion. It's not as bad as they look. So we're gonna go over here, see what's going on with this one, and kind of see what problems it might be having or maybe not having, and kind of go from there. All right, so here's the setup. Horizontal dual fuel heat pump outside with a gas emergency. Right now I've actually got it running primarily off the gas because we like gas better. Over here we've got our EWC board right here. Again, I didn't put this in. It's not my first choice. This spray foam really makes a difference especially when you're doing zone systems, because it really helps to control those different areas of the house that you want to set at different temperatures. All right, so right now we've got green, and our other damper back here for our third zone. It is good. We're gonna call some different zones here and see what happens with these things. You can see back there when they installed it, they labeled zone 1 is the main, zone 1 is the master, zone 2 is the main and kitchen, 3 are the bedrooms. So it is labeled, which is good. We're gonna check voltage at the board and probably at the dampers, see what's going on. EWC, these are a 3-wire damper. All right, so we're an Ecobee family, as you can tell. So he's got it set for 71 in here, but he's got a fire going, so. Next one, 68, still hot in here. He's probably had it on recirc earlier. Right here, you've got your bypass damper set. So it goes from your return to your supply. All right, so I just called for the bedroom. We don't have LED anymore on this one. Green, red right there. So our master suite and the rest of the house that way, for the kitchen and the family room, they are now closed. Both bedrooms are open. Both bedrooms are on the same damper control. So you see those are both green. Right now everything's working like it should. Okay, we're gonna turn this up. Okay. So now we've got the master calling. So we've got master green, family room red, 2 rooms red. So they're power closing like they should. Now we're gonna go check, make sure we got airflow out of the master supply vents. right here. It's heating. So I'm having my brother go call on the thermostat for heat for the master. This duct feeds the master. What we're noticing now is, you can't tell, but the one behind you, the camera, is now powering close. We still have a green light here on this one right here. So these EWC dampers are power close and power open. So you'll notice you have your common, so they take 3 wires. You notice you have your common, PO, and PC. So meaning they can power open and power close. Say we don't have an indicator for some reason, and we want to see what's happening with that zone, we would check between our common and our power open. And right now, as you can see, we're getting 24 volts or 25 volts. So that is power open. Now, if we were to come check all these other ones that have red indicators on them, that one's red, that one's red, that one's red, that one's red. As you can tell, this would be power closed. So these will be closed because the only zone that is actively calling for heat right now is the master. So we'll check between our common and our power closed on this, and we have 25 volts. If I check between power common and power open, obviously we have nothing. And your labels for these, it's a little dirty, but you can see it there. It's common, PO in the middle, and PC, power close. So that's just some simple, easy to tell things about zone systems, just how they operate. This is very basic on how they operate. So all we're doing is we're just verifying that this damper is acting like it should. This damper is acting like it should. Between needing to be power open or power closed. All these other ones are shut. Now, you still need to verify. I still say, double check things, what I like to do, but you still need to verify that down the line, from whatever duct that is actually closed or open, you need to make sure that the motor inside is actually closing or opening that damper. You can take a CFM reader to the vent. You can take just your hand and stick it up there, just to make sure that it's not getting airflow to those other ducts that should be shut and not running right now. So I always like to double check and verify that. All right, so if you're not familiar to Ecobee, we found out that all the comfort settings were thrown off. So at nighttime it was running down to like 66 degrees at night, so it wasn't heating very well. So we're gonna try adjusting the comfort settings first and then see if it's still having issues at night or early in the morning. Okay, so what we actually were having happen was, I'm pretty sure that was more of a comfort settings thing. My dad said that he woke up and it was like 68 degrees in his room specifically this morning, and he went to go turn up the heat to manually just set it to something that he wanted right then and there, and it wasn't really doing much. I think it was like 6 o'clock this morning. So after looking in the comfort settings on those Ecobees, if you have to set your comfort settings between home, sleep, and away, and you can set it at certain times of day to run certain temperatures, or it won't go above a certain temperature. Just heat it to 68 degrees and whatever the case may be. Theirs was set to 68 degrees in the daytime and actually 66 at night. So it was getting pretty cold in his room for what he was used to. I don't know what happened. The settings might have got changed somehow through the app. I'm not sure, but pretty sure it was just one of those ordeals where we have to change the comfort settings. And then I think it'll be okay. So we still verified everything worked right with the dampers and like we should. So what I did was basically just verify that I'm getting proper voltage and a call when that specific thermostat was calling it in the zone system. I also made sure that the other zones in the house on that level were not truly open and still just showing closed on the damper. So sometimes the motor itself can go bad and the damper may not move at all, but the indicator, the light, can still technically show that it's open or closed. So you just always want to verify things like that if you can. Personally, I love zone systems. I think they can help out a lot of people for certain areas in their homes that may be hotter or colder than others. You've got certain scenarios where, like what we see a lot here, is you'll get finished houses that have, they'll have a master above the garage, and the ceiling of that garage is not insulated. And so in the summer, that room gets very hot because it's having all that heat come from the floor plus the attic still, plus the ceiling. Or in the wintertime, it's really cold because there's no insulation, no barrier between that outside, that garage. So then you can do something where you can drop another thermostat down, add a zone to that bedroom. That way it'll only feed air to that bedroom as long as you put other zones on the system, and it will go until that room is satisfied. It'll help at least try to, satisfy whatever they want with their personal temperature desires of those rooms. So overall though, I think zone systems are very versatile. It's very much for what the specific homeowner wants in their house, or ultimately is something that they actually need because they can't mitigate certain temperatures in the home. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.